strategic presentation on Fiji. Welcome to this forum. I was just talking to His Excellency the Ambassador, trying to get the right pronunciations right, so please excuse me if my pronunciation is not that good. I'd like to, of course, acknowledge the President of the Congress of New Caledonia, Honourable Chief Rosh Mompton, and of course the Spokesperson, Member of Government in charge of the economy, Christopher Gygès, and of course his delegation and the rest of the team that actually arrived from New Caledonia, and of course the Fijian counterparts who are here. It gives me much pleasure to be here this afternoon, and as I've talked to His Excellency the Ambassador over the past couple of years, and just sitting out here this afternoon, I was thinking I wish this had happened sooner, because there's obviously quite a lot of opportunities, and indeed missed opportunities so far, that has taken place between Fiji and New Caledonia. We are of course quite close by to each other, but in respect of trade, in respect of collaboration, and in respect of the ability to develop the synergies that can exist between a country like New Caledonia and Fiji, I think has been missed for a very long period of time. So this delegation is most welcome to Fiji. Of course, we'd like to thank the New Caledonian government for this initiative to have a trade representative now sitting in the French embassy, and to be able to ensure that we develop those relationships that we think that has the potential to grow quite tremendously. I'd like to very quickly, and I know you have some different representations and presentations being made by different agencies from the Fijian government, including the Reserve Bank of Fiji and various other agencies. But I want to very quickly highlight to you what we are doing here in Fiji and what could be potential investment opportunities for you, potential trade opportunities for you also, and indeed for us too, because as we have seen, there's a number of good, credible French companies in Fiji, including the Bread Bank of Fiji, and various other organizations, including Total, that are in Fiji. And of course, there's opportunities for companies that are based in New Caledonia in the area of infrastructure, for example, road making and various other areas that could provide investment opportunities for them in Fiji. We, of course, have now gone down the path of Airbuses, so you can feel safe flying to Fiji in the Airbuses, predominantly sort of French-based. We've just recently announced, for example, the procurement of 2 A350s for Fiji Airways. The reason why I'm talking about Fiji Airways, ladies and gentlemen, because if you do trade, if you do have trade relationships and investment relationships, you need to actually have connectivity, in particular in the Pacific, where we are fairly isolated from each other, a vast expanse of ocean between our islands. Fiji has one of the best connectivity in the Pacific, and I'm not saying that with any amount of arrogance, but actually just stating a couple of facts. We fly every day to LA. We fly 3 times a week to San Francisco. We fly 3 times a week to Narita, Japan. We fly 5 times a week to Hong Kong, 3 times a week to Singapore. And of course, we fly every day to Sydney, and we fly to Melbourne, Brisbane, Auckland, and the other Pacific Island countries. Connectivity is obviously very critical, and I also see that in your program you have representations of people speaking to you from the World Bank and IFC. And again, similarly, those organizations are now based in the Pacific to serve the rest of the Pacific. Following your footsteps, without necessarily announcing the name of the country itself, another Pacific Island country has decided to take deeper diplomatic relationships and indeed set up the offices in Fiji too, to take advantage of this hub status that Fiji has. In the past number of years, we have worked diligently to expand our economy, but also to liberalize our economy. Liberalize in the sense that we have now removed a number of the legal impediments for the foreign direct investment in Fiji, where foreign investors have a lot more opportunity to invest in areas which they perhaps could not do so before. We have also, in respect of the financial and financial services sector, as you can see, we have at least 6 banks that operate in Fiji. All of those banks are foreign banks except one, which is Home Finance. And there are numerous, of course, financial arrangements that they do have with the outside world. In terms of telecommunications, we are very well connected. We have 2 mobile phone companies. We have the Southern Cross Cable, that actually lands in Fiji. The Southern Cross cable connects Australia to the west coast of North America. And what we have found now that other Pacific Island countries are actually connecting to the Southern Cross cable to take advantage of that connectivity that exists, and indeed the huge bandwidth that exists with the Southern Cross cable. Recently, Samoa, through World Bank funding, has connected their country to the Southern Cross cable here in Fiji. Apart from that, ladies and gentlemen, we are currently investing quite heavily in the area of ITC. We are working with the Singaporean government through an organization called Singapore Corporation Enterprise, where this alone in the financial year, our financial year is from the 1st of August to the 31st of July, we are expending almost $40 million in the area of improving the digitalization program, which will mean that you will have the ability to launch applications or apply for applications online. We have recently launched the Biz portal, where you'll have all the documents that you require, for example, to get a building permit, and of course foreign investment certification. All of that will be very soon made online. You'll be able to pay online also, and we've set up payment gateways. This creates not only a new level of transparency, a particular level of transparency within the decision-making process, but also it sets in train a very fast tracking system to be able to see your investments come to the fruition very, very quickly. In respect of the overall economy, our economy essentially is premised on the tourism sector, where almost 35 to 38% of our total GDP comes from the tourism sector. We also have some sugar that's derived from sugarcane plantations in Fiji. We export some fish and of course some timber. We are also into manufacturing, which some of you may be interested, and we export a lot to the rest of the Pacific Island countries. They range from, and I know some of those products are actually coming into your country at the moment, right from biscuits, flour, tin fish, all sorts of products, including hardware material too. And these are, of course, of international standard, and I think that is very critically important, that if you want to import these products into your country, that you will find that they meet various ISO standards, they meet various international benchmark standards, which makes it obviously easier for you to be able to market those products in your own countries, and I think that is critically important. And we ourselves have set up a very high benchmark. The Permanent Secretary for Industry and Trade, who is here, will also highlight to you that in various areas we have now set up what we call standardization of products to help you differentiate between what products are actually made in Fiji and what products actually come from overseas. A very simple point is that if you come as a tourist to Fiji, you can go to any store where you can find handicraft. Now, some of this handicraft actually may be made in Philippines, or they could be made in China or some other country. But what we did a few years ago, we actually have to simply turn the product around, and if it's got the label which says Fijian crafted, then you know it's been certified by the Ministry of Industry and Trade to say it's authentically a Fijian product. So similarly, we are doing that within our agricultural sector, Fijian grown, Fijian sown in the garment industry, Fijian products. So that, of course, offers a point of difference, and it can also help you if you want to procure those sorts of items. If they're genuinely Fijian made, then you can, of course, makes it easier for you to do so. We have also, ladies and gentlemen, apart from trying to get our products to be very highly benchmarked, we have recently ratified a number of international conventions in the area of arbitration, in the area of application of cross-border laws relating to private sector contracts. So, for example, the UNCITRAL Convention we have ratified through the UN, which also should give you a particular level of comfort in respect of trade across borders. We are going to very soon set up a mediation center in Nandi to help mediate, independently mediate, when there are contractual disputes between different countries or different parties across borders. So again, that is to ensure that there is confidence within international investors who come into Fiji to know that the contracts that they do sign will actually get enforced, that should there be a contract, for example, adjudicated in another jurisdiction that has also ratified the UN Convention, then you can be rest assured that those decisions or those courts in another jurisdiction will actually get enforced in Fiji. That, I think, is very, very critical to ensure that it gives the investor confidence. So, ladies and gentlemen, overall, we are, of course, we have been able to get a lot of traction in the area of through climate change, through COP23. But I think it presents a lot of opportunities in the area of investment. So, for example, in the area of renewable energy, in the area of smart agriculture. And I think agriculture is one area that we perhaps can learn from you, but also we have the ability to provide you the space, indeed, I mean literally the space in terms of land available for agriculture. There are a number of products in Fiji that we are, of course, importing that we probably should not be importing, for example, in the area of beef, cattle, in the area of some of the fishing products. So there's a number of opportunities in that space. ICT is another area where we have, we believe, a lot of opportunities. As you know, that we are an English-speaking country. We have recently, just to tell you a story, we had a South African company that came and set up in Fiji, setting up a call center. And I asked them, I said, why are you setting up a call center in Fiji? And this is going back about 7 or 8 years ago. And they said there were three things that really attracted them to Fiji. First is that the infrastructure connectivity is very, very stable. The bandwidth is there. Secondly, we were right in the right time zone. We're exactly 12 hours ahead of Greenwich Mean Time. So it fits in very well when you have customers in USA, when you have customers in UK. It fits in very well with the time zones. Thirdly, that we all speak the English language, so the English-speaking customers are very much acquainted with the fact that we know we can speak English. And fourthly, which is what I was not aware of, that apparently we have neutral accents. So apparently an American can understand the English spoken by a Fijian, so can a Brit, so can an Australian, or so can somebody in any other part of the world. So there are, of course, we have the opportunity in the area of ICT, but it's not just in terms of call centers, but also back-end processing. We do back-end processing for banks. We have smaller companies, for example, that have been set up in Fiji that file tax returns for Australians from Fiji. So those types of opportunities do exist in Fiji if you are interested in that space. Last but not least, we have also tried to make our borders very seamless. We've recently, for example, the Honourable Prime Minister launched various devices, X-ray machines, to have a seamless process of goods and services, goods in particular, that come through our ports to create a lot more efficiency. We've recently divested our shares in the Fiji Ports Corporation Limited, where we have an internationally renowned company called Aitken Spence that does the management of our ports. We saw the turnaround times of the ports increase by 30% within a span of 6 months, and it's now been given a lot of accolades in respect of that. Similarly, our airports has recently been given an award as being one of the top 10 airports in the world within its size range, and it's been given a green climate certification also. So again, that level of connectivity, the ability to adhere to international standards, whether it's environment, whether it's labor standards, whether it's in respect of climate change related matters. So there's a number of opportunities. I don't want to make a very long speech or make a huge spiel on that, but be rest assured that we are here to provide you any amenities, facilities, any information you require. The Ministry of Industry and Trade will make sure of that. We, of course, once again are very glad, and I'd like to publicly also acknowledge the interest that has been generated in the energy of your French ambassador here. He, of course, will be leaving soon to join the Europeans, which, of course, one may say is one of the same. But nonetheless, we like to wish him all the best in his new role as European ambassador. We'd like to thank him for his energy and enthusiasm in making sure that we have these types of forums. And please, you're welcome to Fiji. We're here to look after you. We're here to ensure that you have the right business environment created for you. And I'm sure that we'll be able to engage at a much deeper level for the mutual benefit of our respective countries. Thank you very much.